happy that you have joined me here again for another episode. This is part 4 of Who Was I Living With? This is my 4th foster home. So after I was removed from Boyertown because I was acting up due to the things that were starting to happen, I was put in Ben Salem. Ben Salem is another home where I met 2 of my beautiful sisters, and we were living with another foster sister. My 2 sisters were there. I don't believe they were in the system. I think they were just there with our foster mother. She was taking care of them, but they were not in the system. My other foster sister was, and so was I. At first it was a nice home. They had land. It was just a foster mom, so I was okay with it. They had a pool in the backyard where we used to go swimming and stuff and had fun. But yeah, I got there around the summertime, and I had sisters to play with, I talked to, that sort of thing. Then my little sisters, they began to look up to me, and we got close, and everything was fine. The foster mom, I didn't really connect with her, but she was fine in the beginning. And then she had introduced us to her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was the issue for me because he began doing some things that made me uncomfortable. But when I first met him, he was friendly, that sort of thing. So he had asked me if I wanted to learn to drive. And I said, sure. And so when he was teaching me how to drive, I didn't like how he would put his hand on my leg and tell me to push the gas pedal, whatever. So, I felt uncomfortable. I took one lesson and I was done with it, but I don't know. It was just weird. So then, weeks passed and my sister and I were going swimming. So I had put on a bathing suit. I could just remember him standing at the door, and he just made some comments that were not pleasant. It made me feel uncomfortable. And I just quickly walked past him and went swimming. So then again, a while later passed, and I just didn't know if I should say anything. I was scared. I didn't want to get in trouble. My past experience said that if you speak up, you might just get a whooping type of thing, or you'll get blamed. So I didn't feel protected by adults at this time. So I didn't really say anything. But then I was coming out of the house to go outside, and he made a comment that I remember just set me off. So as the foster mom was cooking dinner, I just told her that, I was letting her know everything that he said and did. And my fears came true, where she blamed me and labeled me a problem child. And I didn't like that feeling of being labeled a problem child just because I spoke up and told you that something wasn't right. I feel like because it was her boyfriend, she didn't want to believe me, that sort of thing. So I ended up going to my room that night, and I remember finding a bottle of pills that were in the cabinet, and I just opened the bottle. I had my solution. It was like an alcohol cleaner for my airbrush machine that they bought me. I remember I had alcohol to that, and I remember just downing the pills and taking the solution because I just didn't want to live anymore. At this point, I just was tired of the questions. I was tired of feeling like, why am I here? Why I can't go home? What's wrong with me? I just got fed up just being told that I was no longer wanted at my visits. I didn't bother asking my mom because we didn't have communication with her unless we were in the visits. But this is what I was told in Boyertown. We went to the visits and they stopped my visits, and I just didn't understand why. And they made me feel like my mom didn't want me at the visits. So when I went to Ben Salem, I was just like over it all. Like I was just done. I just wanted to end it. And I was laying on the bed. I remember praying, just God, make this easy. Don't let the pain come. Just take me. As I was praying that, I can hear my little sister knock on the door, calling my name. And I didn't answer her because I was just ready to go. You know, I knew if I answered her, we began talking, or I let her in, you know, I would feel bad or horrible, regret what I did. So I didn't answer her. I just laid there, and I remember feeling so much pain. I remember my body hurting, just going through sickness, feeling sick. At that moment, I received a message that, you know, my parents, who are my parents now, I didn't know them at the time, they were coming to get me, and I didn't want to go with them. I didn't know them. I was tired of moving around. I didn't want to go with them. And so when they got there, I found the strength to just run. And I left. I went to the park. And I remember they were trying to get me to come back and, you know, just like convincing me to go with them. And I didn't want to. I was just over the whole system. I was tired of people doing stuff to us and, you know, nobody protecting us. So I was being defiant. And then I came back to the house. They had left. They came back the next day. And I remember I was just sick. I had a headache. I was sick. I didn't feel well. I didn't understand why the medicine or pills didn't work while I was still here. And then they took me to their house. So in Ben Salem, I wasn't there for a long time. It was a few months, I would say. I got there and, you know, everything seemed great. And then everything just went left due to her boyfriend that was there. And no one liked him. No one liked him. Before I came, I was told that she was married and she had a man who they called Dad, who they were attached to, but he had passed away. And then she found him, and it was just, I don't know. He was just horrible. So, yeah. I remember that night when I told her that was the worst feeling in the world, to be dismissed or not believed or labeled the problem child. It was just too much for me to handle. But I can remember my sister Ellen, her and I, we would be in her room and we would play music and sing songs. I would also go to her family's house sometime. I remember my little sisters, we just had fun, you know, we had fun being together. And they quickly became my little sisters, so I would correct some of the things that they did or whatever the case may be. But I love the children in the system. Like, we all connected. So Boyertown was the start of my family, my extended family. And then Ben Salem, I met 2 more sisters, and it was just a beautiful experience to have them in my life. They were the reason why I fought to stay alive. I fought to keep going before my children came. They were my reason, because I didn't want to leave this world knowing that I took away the person that they were closest to. You know, that I was the reason for them not having their big sister around. So that kept me here. And it was hard. It was hard because I didn't deal with anything. Foster care just taught me how to go from one place to the next, how to ignore what I was going through and just move on. So that's what I became good at. And yeah, that was basically my experience there. You know, I met a guy who I began talking to, just something short there, but he had an amazing voice. But yeah, my time was short there, so it wasn't, it's not much to this story. With this home, I would say to this, she passed away recently. If she was here, I would definitely tell her, that I would have a conversation with her just to let her know the pain that I felt. But I don't know if that would make a difference. So I would let her know that I forgave her for how she made me feel, and for not protecting me. And I let it go. I choose to let it go because it doesn't do anything for me. So yeah. But to that man who's still alive and you need help. Yeah. I just, that foster home is, I don't dwell on it. The only thing I think about is my sisters. When I think about that home, I think about them. I think about the great times that we had. And yeah, that's it. So that is part 4 of my journey in foster care. Who was I living with? And that was in Bensalem. Guys, I hope that if you are going through abuse, that you seek help, that you begin your healing journey, and you don't believe the lies of the abuser when they tell you it's your fault, or you deserved it, or you made me do it. I pray that you don't believe those lies, and I pray that you speak up for yourself and continue to do so until somebody listens. You are beautiful, you are loved, you are made in God's image, and you deserve blessings, you deserve happiness, you deserve positivity, you deserve everything great. We don't deserve to be abused, we don't deserve to be miserable. Our past is a lesson to be learned from, and we are to move forward and welcome our future with open arms. So I pray that you wholeheartedly believe, that you are worth everything that God has for you. So until next time, be blessed. Bye.